Senator Inhofe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Porcari, first of all, I want to make sure that you share with your boss, Secretary Fox, how much we appreciate in Oklahoma his participation, which was is really the way that we should be doing things. Go to the source and get a good look. And I know he's doing that all over the country, so I appreciate it. He was a big hit in Oklahoma.
I'll be happy to do that.
And I'd also ask you, did you understand what I was trying to get to when I talked about, politically speaking, we're talking here, and it's important that we cover the things that we're covering, but the politics is important, as the chairman knows. We need a bill, and a bill in, quite frankly, it's more difficult dealing with Republicans than Democrats in the Senate. But we've overcome that problem in the House. And the point I was trying to get across is, if we can, their support was predicated on the assumption that these reforms that we have would be taken care of in a very timely fashion. Did that make sense to you?
It does, Senator, and I will tell you, we take this very seriously because we see really a twofer out of this. We can improve the process and get better outcomes.
Good. And I agree with that. Mr. Ash, the Fish and Wildlife Service has been working with 5 states range-wide plan addressing the lesser prairie chicken. I'll sure be glad we get that resolved. I understand the service will receive the latest version today. I believe that there is sufficient evidence to avoid a threatened listing and appreciate the service extending the final rule until March 14th. I'm sure that Senator Udall agrees with me, and some others do too. It would be nice if we could get that extended to June of 2014. Service approval of the range-wide plan and the oil and gas CCAA as soon as possible is really crucial to prevent a threatened listing. Following submission of the final draft of the range-wide plan today or this week, how early in, let's say, October, do you think the service could issue a judgment on whether to approve the range-wide plan?
Thank you, Senator. And as we've spoken about before, I really applaud the 5 range states, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado, Kansas, and Oklahoma, for their work in developing a comprehensive strategy for conservation of the sage grouse. We had agreed on a timeline with the states cooperatively, sitting down together and working on a timeline, and the states are a couple of weeks behind their timeline in terms of submitting the range-wide plan to us, but we've committed that when they get it to us, we'll get them an answer in 10 days. That's still our plan.
No, that's good. That's what I wanted to hear, and I appreciate that very much. I think you should be getting that today. I know that Senator Udall is on top of this, the same as I am. That's not the only issue, however. I can't let this go without talking about the American burying beetle. On the 15th of April, the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation sent you a letter asking that the service revise the American burying beetle recovery plan for the first time in 22 years so we can begin the delisting. I wrote you on July 22nd because the scientific integrity investigation currently underway at the service involves the American burying beetle and the service's Tulsa district office. We've not received a response yet. The supervisors at the Tulsa office overrode the decision of biologists to leave the trap and relocate that method until an alternative or a general conservation plan could be reached. Now we've got our landowners, our developers, our farmers in a situation where in eastern Oklahoma they have to withdraw from doing what they normally would be doing. They're drilling, they're farming, the other activities, pipelines and so forth, until the service issues the guidance. So we're kind of in a dilemma there, and I'd ask if the service planned on a general conservation plan in December of 2013, which is now slipping until April of 2014. What will you do to re-evaluate the recovery plan and more immediately expedite service guidance for economic development in the range of this insect? I know you've heard this before, but the dilemma of people out there, time costs a lot of money. And so what do you think?
try to respond quickly. There is no disagreement, and the scientific integrity issue and investigation that was ongoing is unrelated to the issue of the trap and relocate methodology. There was no disagreement, or is no disagreement within the service about the science on that. The state has requested that we revise a recovery plan. We will open discussions with the state about that. Of course, going back to Senator Udall's question about the sequester, I mean, we are an organization under severe stress and have lots of people that want us to do lots of things, and I think that's a significant challenge that we'll need to talk about how to resource that effort. I think that as regards to advice in the meantime about American burying beetle, I mean, we have to advise avoidance. And trap and relocate is a method to avoid and minimize take of burying beetle, but it's not an authorization for take. And so I think we need to continue to work with the industry. I think we are, and we produced a habitat conservation plan for the southern segment of the Keystone Pipeline in record time. And so I think we'll make a commitment to continue working on that issue, but we are where we are right now with regard to science.
I appreciate that very much. Very good answer. And Madam Chair, my time has expired, but rather than to get into any questions, Ms. Sutley, I'd like just to ask if you could respond to my letter, page 2, letter of August 14th. List 3 specific areas of questions that I would appreciate if you respond to. Do you think you can do that?
Senator, we responded to your letter of August 14th on September 6th.
But
and
you
we're
didn't
in-
specifically respond to the questions. It was a general thing saying, no, we did not organize that particular event. Well, that's not what I asked. If you just don't mind personally reading these 3 specific questions and trying to respond to them, could you do that?
Yes, Senator, we're also in receipt of your letter of September 13th, and we will provide you a response.
Thank you very much.